What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Savage Land. Welcome to another episode of Soapbox. If you're new to my channel, Soapbox is pretty much my weekly show that I pretty much just run my mouth, go over different action figure topics, things that interest me, toys that are just coming out that interest me, sometimes pop culture topics. This week on Soapbox, we're pretty much going to be talking all big boy toys. That's why I decided to theme it that. I filmed it over the past 2 days, with this being the last part, but the first part. And you're gonna see the same shirt on, and later on in the video, and yes, I have on the same thing from yesterday when I filmed it also. But for those of you new here, of course, we got community. We got G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe, which we talk strictly about G.I. Joe. Something I also added is my weekly pickups, if I have them. And then, did I say hot topic already? Well, we got a hot topic that we'll talk about. As far as community, we're going to be talking about Giant Man. That is the big boy toy we're going to be talking about. I'm kind of do a last little report on that. G.I. Joe, we're going to be talking about the Cobra Mothership from Super 7. And as far as hot topic, we're going to be talking about, are there too many HasLabs? When are there, should I say, crowdfund? I said it yesterday, later on, you'll see in the video, that I don't want to keep saying HasLab, crowd-funded projects, because it's not just Hasbro. They set the mold for it. You can say they're the poster child, but all of these other companies and all of these crowd-funded projects coming at us at one time. So let's jump right into it. All right, so on community, pretty much we'll be talking about the Giant Man and where it's at right now. This is probably my last report on it. So Giant Man is sitting at about, today is Thursday the 19th. Giant Man is sitting at about 6,328 backers. It needs 10,000 just to be backed, and I think it needs 12,000 for a stretch goal and 14. I'm not even really going to get into that, because the main thing this project needs is really to get funded. I don't think anybody cares about the extra tiers. I actually did like them. The more the merrier. It's cool with me, but I'm actually satisfied with just the Giant Man offering. Now, with 4 days left and just a little under 12 hours, it ends on the 23rd, Monday at 11:59 p.m. It needs about a good 3,700 backers. That seems like a far-fetched goal, just because of the slowness of the campaign, the process it has been taken. Usually, if somebody, if most of the people want a HasLab, it's almost funded within that day. If not, it's in a short distance. This one, it's not really hot. It's not really cold. It's been a mediocre campaign, and that's what these numbers are showing. What is mediocre? In the middle, kind of halfway. Not this, not that. It's just right there, and that's what this project is showing. A little bit over 5,000 will be halfway to 10, so we're at 6,000, and it's been steady creeping up. But one thing it hasn't been doing is going in reverse. Now, I will say this. Today is Thursday. If it gains another 2,000 backers by Saturday, which will jump it up to about 8,000 or something, I think it will get the backers it needs by Monday, at least to be just funded. And with a project like this, I can see that happening. I can see it just getting funded. They don't care about the extra faceplates, which is not up to one individual. It's a mass amount of people, so the people will speak on what they want. Personally, if I was gonna get that offering, I would like also those faceplates too, especially the scroll. And I can work with the zombie. I actually like that too. Me personally, I backed out of it, but I do support it. I do think it's a good project. I think it's a good offering for the price, even with the base buck. Because with most HasLabs, that's really what I have to feel that. I'm not somebody just going to go get the figures, which I don't knock anybody doing that and then selling it off. I actually have to feel the HasLab in order for me. Okay, like, all right, this is cool. And for the most part, for most of them, I felt. Even this one right here, I'm not a huge, like, okay, Hank Pym is my guy, you know, but it's a cool piece to have in a collection. I have a large Marvel collection, and he will go in nice with it. I hope it gets back for other people who are backing it, so they can have that experience also too. With this, I would say, fair weather type campaign it's had, it's been able to, for people to kind of slice it in thin slices. Okay, well, it's a little bit too tall. You know what, we would like the figures, and if that is something that's an issue with you, by all means, I have no problem with that. I'm just reporting what I've seen, and I look at toys every single day for the past 3 or 4 years. It's a sick addiction. So I see this. These are the things I see mostly. One is too tall, which I can understand. Shelves aren't that big. I'm looking at my shelves now. You got a thing 24 inches tall. That's gonna need some real estate going up, actually, instead of out, because he can stand like a regular man. But at the end of the day, my thing is, if you want a giant man, I want a giant man. And 24 inches, I mean, that is cool with me. As long as he wasn't bigger than Galactus or a Sentinel. He could have been the same height as a Sentinel, but Galactus, like I told you before, will really literally be 6 feet tall. But when it comes to the toyetic, the playability, you want those figures to be shorter than Galactus, because Galactus is basically a planet eater. Now, Marvel went to New York Comic Con, which I hope to attend one day. I think I'd rather attend New York Comic Con than San Diego, especially that I live on the East Coast. And just San Diego seems like a little bit inflated. I wouldn't mind going, but New York, I think I will be there. I'm gonna try to make that next year or sometime or another. I know I'm gonna try to make Joe Fest coming up. But getting back on subject, Marvel was showing it off there. They pretty much showed everything they had. I think they said they had a few adjustments, that they gave it a little neck slick in the back so you can look up a little bit more. I believe the dude Dwight had said that on Boog's interview. But of course, Giant Man is going to not be looking up to anybody except Galactus, and just enough to do that. But other than that, the articulation on the figure looked pretty good. They said in person the figure looks pretty good, and there's nothing crazy about this. The articulated fingers, yes, the Sentinel had it, but it's a little bit more human-like now because it's a human specimen that pretty much that they made. So I think for me, just looking at it, it's a very quality figure. I wish I could have seen it in person, but they had their little pitch there. Just basically trying to get people to back it more. Like I said before, I don't think they was going to throw any other figures in. What they did stress is that, hey, these figures will be coming out. It makes sense. Why wouldn't you try to hook up on that back end and get some more money that it's pretty much almost guaranteed, then putting them in the HasLab and people not funding, then that whole kind of campaign is lost, which it still can be lost now, but at the end of the day, they still can come out with those other figures with no problem and no PR hiccups, like, oh, you didn't get in the HasLab, but we still got them, so to me, I think they played it the right way with this mediocre run, and try to turn it up again next year. I asked a question the other day of will they still make HasLabs this doesn't fund, and they probably will, because I had to think about it. I think somebody else said it, JC, that Star Wars failed numerous times with HasLabs, or somebody in a chat, and they still got a chance in other ones, so they'll probably still have a chance. But I think this is a solid one. I think it'll be, particularly, even though I'm not getting this, I think it'll be a crying shame if people missed on this one, and if it just gets barely funded, and hey, those are 10,000 people who actually really wanted this thing. I would have been one of them. And I will tell you this, if it does get funded and somebody next year has it a little bit above what the price was, I'm gonna get it, because I'll probably be in a little bit better spot to grab it. What you don't know is a lot of people get this in this case, not for figures, but some people even get it just to do photographs, and they just sell it right back off and probably make them $50. They don't care. It goes like that sometimes. But we will see. Marvel put his last pitch in. No extra figures. It is what it is. This is the offering. For me, I think is just a giant action figure. $200 seems good to me. It's just a little bit more premium than your regular action figure. But we will see. This is the last time I'm going to talk about this until after that came bang on the next soapbox, and we'll be talking about, did it crash or did it soar like an eagle? We will see. We will see. All right, here is this week's weekly pickups. I will say the weekly pickups lately have been wonderful and magnificent, because I've been getting a lot of stuff on clearance. I'm really not looking for anything like hot new that's coming out. Even with the G.I. Joe, unless it's an exclusive, I'm kind of waiting a little bit. Not necessarily saying I'm waiting on clearance, but I'm just waiting a little bit. I feel like there's not a need to jump on it. Not unless there's one I did want to jump on, and I probably honestly should have waited on him. But let's go through it real quick. So weekly pickups. Let's start off with a haul I got from Ollie's, and I picked this up in Hickory, North Carolina, in the mountains. If you don't know where Hickory is, so basically the Black Widow set here. I got 5 explosions now, and I paid $30 for all of these. They were $4.99 a piece. So I got 2 already that I've been using for a couple of years now. Now I have 7. And to be honest with you, let's forget about all like the G.I. Joe hype. What you really need to be doing, if you're into picture photography, is trying to army build these explosion pieces. My man Alpha Proto told me that's what people use them for, which I already knew. I just wanted them a little bit cheaper. If you go to your Ollie's, they should be around 15 bucks because you get all of this. But hey, you might be able to find them for $5 every now and then. Not gonna tell you how to do that, but you might be able to find them for $5 or whatever price you want every now and then. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to army build 20 of these. This is all I want, 20 explosions, because 2 looks nice. Imagine you've had 20. And I got the His tank coming, so these will definitely come in handy. These Black Widow movie deluxe figure, which if your Ollie's has them, they're probably still sitting on the shelves, to be honest with you. Also at that Ollie's in Hickory, I picked up another Blue Marvel. Ollie's is so cheap, it just has me like spoiled. I want a Blue Marvel regular, just so I can have that character. And I want to do the switcheroo and keep it permanent with the Black Panther, and then have a regular Black Panther. So I picked up another Blue Marvel. So one of my Black Panthers will have that Blue Marvel head, and then the other Blue Marvel body will have that Black Panther. Like I said, kind of like a Street Panther, regular Blue Marvel. Then you have a fully, then I'll have a fully Black Panther all the time. And Ollie's makes it easy to do that without paying a ton of money. Also, just like everybody else, I picked up the buzzer. Sorry about the shine on there. Lights getting in the way. Shout out to my man from North Carolina, Window Cleaning. Only reason I told him I jumped on it because I haven't jumped on a figure in a minute, and I was surprised that this was here, and it's actually still up for pre-order on me to get on Big Bad Toy Store if it's not sold already. But if it hasn't, it's been up there for days, and that's not likely when a figure comes in early. It just gets gone in about a day, but it's been up there, so I guess they're here. And just like my last episode on this G.I. Joe dilemma, the figures are coming faster and faster now. They're getting into your hands to avoid that shelf life gap that they've been missing. Got this from Target and Garner, and this is a pop of Hawkeye. But the cool part about it, if you could see it, he has Ant-Man on the tip of his arrow. I thought that was a pretty cool pop. They usually cost about $20-something, but I brought this for $8.99. And that's when I like to deal with pops. And you get a cool like container for storage. This is plastic up under all of this, which I'm not keeping this, but it's a plastic box, you know, for like storage. You can put some comic books in there, or you can put some pops in there, but I'm taking this pop out. I'm looking for the other ones. They got a Skrull dressed up like Iron Man. They got a Wolverine from Wolverine Volume 1, the first 4 issues. And they got a few other ones that if they go down to like $8 or $9 with this entire package, this pop, it's definitely worth it. But I thought this one was cool. This was a cool one to pick up with Hawkeye with the with Ant-Man on the back, basically kind of going after this image here from that classic Hawkeye cover. So pretty cool, man, for $9. Picked this up at Target. My Target hasn't put them on sale yet, but I'm pretty sure eventually they will. Also, Brutus Ghost Fortnite. Picked this up at Ollie's in Raleigh when I was up there last week for $5. Not bad, worth a try. Seen some reviews on it. Looks like he's kind of hard to stand, but I just thought a Kingpin and that army build I did with Andrade with this figure, I thought he would probably blend in with those guys, being that everybody has like a white-black pinstripe or a white and black suit. I don't know, every time I buy a figure, I'm thinking about other figures. That's how I operate. But man, as you can see, man, I'm just drowning in clearance. As you hear, it just hits the ground back there. But great pickups, man. All that stuff cost me under $100. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 figures. 10 figures, and they all cost me under $100, hugely because of Ollie's. And then also, just on a whim, I was interested in what this Flint looked like, so I picked up the Tiger Force Flint too. I couldn't wait to crack him out of the box. I will say this, when I first opened it up, a little underwhelmed. I was watching Punk with Toys review on this, and he basically said that they could have took this to another level, and they could have. It's not a bad figure, but it's not great either. Same Flint from last time, no different change in the buck or anything, just has the the Tiger Force get up on him. I wish he would have had black pants instead of green. You could have kept the vest that green and brown color just to have that crazy Tiger Force off color, but I think the pants should have been darker, and I believe they could have did a little bit better on the shirt. bigger tiger stripes, bolder tiger stripes, more of a deeper orange. They could have did a little bit better on the face paint too. So this is almost kind of like a dud, but I wouldn't necessarily knock and say it's a bad figure. I just expected more out of it. Tiger Force Clan. And that is my weekly pickups this week on the Savage Land. All right, we're back for another week of G.I. Joe. Yo! And this week on G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe. We're talking about the Super 7 Cobra Mothership. When I first seen this thing back at Comic-Con, I was like, okay, I thought it was a prop piece or whatnot, and I thought it looked pretty decent. Being that it's dropped this past weekend, the full layout, I like it even more. Be honest with you. One thing I will say is that the price is steep on this. I think this is one of those ones, like, if you don't understand, you're like, that's a waste of money, that's garbage. But if you into it, you're like, yo, this is totally worth it. Because that ship is something that could be around as a nice piece for 20 years. And when you consider $500 lasting 20 years, which is $495, but let's say 500, it's well worth it. If I got my money's worth out of item and it's went over a span of time, which money cannot last forever, then it's worth it to me. The more and more I look at this ship and the layout that they gave, I like it even more. And let's go with the layout real quick. So you got to December 11th. So 60 days from when they launched last week sometime. But December 11th is the end day. Right now it hasn't started off too hot. When it first started off 200, when I looked at it today is the 18th. It has about 500. It has about 500 backers on it. So it's a slow start to it. So with Super 7, it's not like Hasbro. When people get the misconception of Hasbro, when you back this thing, they automatically take the money. Actually, Hasbro doesn't do it until the project actually funds, because you don't know if it's gonna fund or not. Super 7 takes that money immediately, which is a huge backdraw on something that's $500. Like, who the hell wants to pay that? That's 2 or 3 light bills. That is half or a quarter of some people's mortgage. It's a nice chunk to throw out there like that of something you don't know is gonna get back, because it needs 4,000 backers. All right. I think you get to 5,000. You get the turrets for the guys to sit on. You get 2 Cobra Vipers with them, 1 O-ring, and then 1 reaction figure. After that, I think at 6,000 you get 2 Trouble Bubbles, and then I think at 7,000 you get 2 more Viper figures, 2 more exclusive Viper figures. You also get an option to buy a 5-pack of either O-ring Vipers or reaction Vipers for $75. That bounces out to about $17, $10 shipping. I'm sorry, $15 a piece for 5 Vipers. $10 shipping. You can either choose the reaction, you can choose the O-ring. So make sure you choose wisely if you do choose those. I'm down for that. I think that's pretty cool. So you can have a crew to man this ship. Also, with it, what else comes with it? The little thing, if you back it by, if it gets fully backed, or at least meets the minimum goal by the 22nd of October, which it won't, 4,000, you get 2 stupid parachutes. Well, which I wouldn't mind having those parachutes, but I'm pretty sure they're going to end up throwing those in. Okay, or maybe not, but it's not something to cry over with that. That's irrelevant. But what I was saying with Super 7, getting this ship, when you get the money pulled out immediately, there's also payment plans. It's something for $500 over, I think it has a 10-12 month span with the payment plan through a firm or something like that. That's nothing. You know, you're thinking about $50 a month and it'll come out with ease. There's also a payment plan where you can do payment installs. I do this a lot too when I buy shoes sometime, where you can bust that $500 down to $125 every 2 weeks. That's also cool too. So there's different options. That's probably the way I'm gonna go. I'm gonna wait till about the end of the campaign, because I don't know. Well, maybe I'll just jump on it and just do it anyway, and if it goes through, cool, because I can do the payment plan thing, because 500 is a lot, but over a course of time, that's cool. And I'm really started liking this thing a lot. And the one reason why, because of my Sky Striker. I just thought about my Sky Striker with those Black Widow effects on top of that ship, like just shooting missiles on it, and those panels that come off the ship blowing completely off, or just a nice piece. But what I will say that this ship is a U.S.S. Flagg for baddies, bad guys. Yeah, Like me, I like bad guys. And this ship was never made. Now, I will also say this too. As far as this ship, this is what some people were talking about. Hey, if you're gonna do a crowdfund, make it something crazy, outrageous, that's never been done before. This ship was never made in the original line. It's from the allure of Aura. I mean, it's on because G.I. Joe in the Aura series switched up their beginnings about 2 or 3 times. Well, I wouldn't even say 2, about 3 or 4 times. You can't really tell the difference unless you look at it all the time. Sometimes it has Flint leading the charge, sometimes it has Sarge leading the charge, and in the first season it had Duke leading the charge. But I think in the second one, this ship is featured and it crashes. It's only in one more episode and it gets blown up again too, but it was never made as a toy. So this is a dream project, really, a colossal project, really. I think the only damper on it is a lot of money to me in my eyes, because I'm into this. And not necessarily I'm into 3 3/4, but I got some 3 3/4 figures. I got 3 3/4 vehicles. I got his tanks. Everybody's finding that blue his tank at Ollie's. I was getting that on discount at Walmart 2-3 years ago for $10. I got plenty of them. Actually, I got a video on them too that I did about 2 years ago. Check that out. It's back in the beginning of my channel, like episode 15 or 16 or something. Got the Sky Striker, the ship. Be great to go with it, and I'm getting back into collecting O-rings, and that's the cool thing about it. You have the option, if you just got O-ring figures, a lot of them already, this ship will go perfect with them. The trouble bubbles coming with it, if it reached those tiers, this thing goes through, that's a tier I do hope it gets to, those 2 trouble bubbles that come in. But big dream project, 3 feet in diameter, so 32 inches. It's a fucking wagon wheel, basically, man. That's some shit that looks like this. I wish I had a cutout or something like dude I be seeing who be doing the cutouts, but it's huge, man. It's huge. It's the size of truck tire rim. So, and then the place opens up top, set it down, has the thrusters at the bottom for stands, and then it already comes with 2 figures. So it just has a lot of versatility with it. With the I think it has 3 rooms, 2 on each side, 1 in the front. See, the Ghost just had a middle strip. This has a side and the middle strip, and it has a drop down gate so the trouble bubbles can come out, can deploy missiles, has a jail cell inside. I think it's just a really, really cool piece. And for me, just to set up and just have as a nice display and come mess around with. But it's basically a U.S.S. flag for Cobra. And in a sense, it's a ship, but it's an airship. So I think there's a lot of playability with this, but you really have to be in it and have to really want to be down with it. But I think it's a little bit more accessible than a Hasbro HasLab because of the payment plans. That's what a lot of people are not saying. You actually do payment plans. I know that sounds crazy, like, damn, this guy gotta do payment plans for toys. But hey, shit, it is what it is. I'll probably do it. I don't give a fuck if I had the 500. I would do that anyway, because I'm like, yo, I got other stuff I'm gonna do. This will get my money, but it'll get it over time, and I won't even tell that I brought it, really. Like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So but far as the features on it, I think it has great features. It has lights at the bottom, and to me, every time I see those lights at the bottom, I think of an upside down Wu-Tang sign or the Method Man symbol. I don't know why I think of that, but it looks like that to me, man. But I think it's a great project, man. Not really too much I could say on it. Like I said, 60 days. It's done December 11th, $4.95. It's starting to creep, but I don't know if it'll make it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I had to throw this little piece in on the Super 7 Cobra Mothership. This is the next day after actually originally filming this part, but I've been paying a little close attention to this. In the past 24 hours, this thing has jumped. It was down at like 200 and something at the beginning of the week, and earlier today when I was looking, this is Thursday the 19th, I filmed the first part of me talking about this ship. This part you just seen yesterday on the 18th, and within that it's jumped 400 or 500 backers. So this thing might actually go through. It's at 1,000 now. It looks a little bit more respectable as far as will it make the goal, and you still got 50 days to go. Something about Super 7, it doesn't have the flat that Hasbro has. Like, if Hasbro would have came out with that Cat's Lair, motherfuckers would have went ape shit for 700. But I didn't know if it was got there. I had no intention of backing the Cat's Lair from Thundercats, but it got there. It got there. I'm hoping this gets there because they got a cool payment plan for it. And if I'm still not right by the time I'm getting this U.S.S. flag for baddies. And then also I had to throw in too, if Super 7 is making this, they probably gonna make the flag too. because I think they're going to take over the 3 3/4 line from Hasbro. And I was wondering months back what was going on between them and Hasbro, because they did a mashup, I think, with Power Rangers with the Rita Repulsor on Hasbro Pulse, a Super 7 product. They kind of share the G.I. Joe properties, but then they were at a con with G.I. Joe. So I guess it's Mark Flynn, whatever his name. I guess he's kind of doing what a businessman do. He probably went out to Hasbro and was like, hey, let's work together. Let's do some things. And I think they're going to hand the torch to the 3 3/4 line over to him. And who better? Look what he's coming out with. Like, the price, I said it's steep, but I do think it's worth it. This is almost like the Ghost Ship, just a little bit more, to be honest with you. Just offering a little bit more flavor. But I can't really say. I'm not a Star Wars fan, so some people probably stone me to death for that. But this is the same effect, but I think this is really cool. So I think he could probably do a U.S.S. Flagg, and he'll probably jump really back into this. Like Super 7, they don't pump out as much as Hasbro, but they're putting out stuff like, golly, they're doing that with all the other lines. So with this 3 3/4, I think they can really do their thing. I like the reaction figures, but they're just really kind of like little mini statues. I actually brought a Tiger Force Shipwreck, that reaction figure, which looks pretty cool. But imagine that in 3 3/4. Ooh, they even did Snake Eyes and all that. I actually want Super 7 to take over the 3 3/4 line. I think I'll be doing some business with them, because, like I said, I'm slimming down to strictly just G.I. Joe, and I want this mothership. It's just jumped up to 1,046. So it jumped up about 500 backers from what I seen in the day. When I looked at it earlier this morning on the 19th, October 19th, a Thursday, it jumped from 2 to like 4 and 5 in the past day. And it's just jumped another 500, and it needs 4,000 to be back. I was just thinking, like, if it gets the first goal, that's cool. With the turrets that you see, Destron, who gets thrown off, I believe, by Roadblock. And the next one is the Trouble Bubbles, which, if I'm backing this, I hope those Trouble Bubbles come with it. But at the same time, Super 7 is probably going to put them out. Just as vehicles, man. I think they're going to start doing the smaller vehicles too, which is cool. It's just cool. So, G.I. Joe, I don't know. We kind of move kind of strong, man. I think this might get back. Seeing that hard jump, like boom. Okay, now it's 1,046. It's steady creeping. Within a month, if it's at 3,000. It's going to get there. It's going to get there. And like I said, the payment plan, you can either do 4 installments or you can do across 10 months with a firm. I do that already with some stuff like that doesn't come off my back. Like I see a pair of Jordans I want. Okay, fuck it. I'll do the 4 payment installments. It takes 2 months to pay $200. I mean, what is that? You know what I'm saying? So just had to report that at the end. And Cobra! Let's get into this week's hot topic. And basically I was going to do it first. I just saw people complaining about clearance and waiting on figures to go to clearance, and you shouldn't do that. Hey, eat. I told you months ago, well, 1 or 2 months ago, that there's going to be plenty of G.I. Joe to eat. Eat that shit up, because it ain't good like this all the time. I can't remember all these figures being on clearance in about the past 2 years, like a good strong clearance, and it's been clearance season. Clearance season. Take advantage of it, because it won't last forever. But I'm not going to do that. Who was talking about? Oh, JC. I was watching JC, and he was talking about too many HasLabs at one time. And that's what the hot topic I want to do, because this is a real issue. I'm all for HasLab. I'm all for supporting them. I'm all for, if you don't want to support them, I don't care. Just don't hit me with the crazy stuff, man. Like, I had something on ACBA where I commented, Boog said, hey, put any question you want to put down for me to ask Marvel Legends. And I said, hey, if this HasLab doesn't work, will it be any more HasLabs? And then some dude came on there, and you know what, and it's hard with text, I will admit that. Maybe I was wrong. He came on there and said, I don't support any of them. I don't have none of them. But like, what's the fucking point of telling me that? And I just simply wrote back, I don't care, which that is I don't care if you got all of them or none of them. What the fuck does that have to do with me? Basically, I was just asking a simple question for that man to relay over to them. And then he wrote me back something weak as hell, like, you don't sound like a nice guy. Shit, I'm not a nice guy sometimes, and I try to do right by people all the time, but hey, I'm human. Sometimes I'm not nice, man, and you start coming at me sideways and shit, that sometimes it can maybe go left. But let's get on the hot topic. Too many HasLabs, not enough time, and let's put another quotation, not enough money either. I believe they're putting out too many HasLabs at one time. I don't care about the billion-dollar company shit. Like, I never sweated anybody else's pockets. That's why I've always been straight in life. But of course, in this era, in this genre right here, what we got going on, of course, Hasbro is the poster child, and I truly think they don't give a fuck. But they're putting out too many HasLabs, too many crowdfunding projects at one time, especially for a person like me who collects across several lines, which I like the Giant Man, and I like this Cobra Mothership too. So I like Mattel stuff also. I haven't really been big on Mattel crowdfunds, but I think they need to slow it down, just like how JC said. Don't do every line every year, skip a year, because I believe people are getting worn out, okay? And that's with anything. Sometimes you oversaturate an idea, it'll get worn out. Like sometimes with people's channels, it can get a little stale. You can keep running with the same thing, and you're like, you know what, this feels stale, I'm kind of tired, even though it's a great idea and the formula is probably working. But people are getting worn out with too many HasLabs. And then there's been a lot of big, and I should say crowdfund projects, because I don't want to just narrow it down to Marvel Legends or Hasbro. Too many crowdfunded projects, and there was some big boys that came out this year too. You got the Thundercats Cat Slayer for $700. You had the G.I. Joe Dragonfire, which on a HasLab is on the low end of $275. Now you got the Marvel Legends, which is on even lower end of $200. And then you got the Cobra Mothership, that's $500. You had the Mattel Ring. You had the Star Wars Ghost Ship, that's $500. The Mattel Ring was $450. Okay, so, and I'm pretty sure there's one more out there. I'm forgetting, the Jurassic Park thing for Mattel. All these crowd-funded things that's coming in within a span from let's say the first one that kind of dropped this year was the Mattel Ring, which didn't fund. That was back in March, April, to now October. So we got March, April, am I saying it right? March, April, June, July, August, September, October. That's 7 months. So half a year, we probably got 5 or 6 projects. And some of them boys were some big boys, like $500, $700, $450. Any HasLab project, you're gonna come off a couple of $100s, and shall I say crowdfund again? Any crowdfund, you're gonna have to come off a couple of $100s. So I think it's too much. I think it's a heavy influx on collectors. I think it's heavy across people who collect several lines. Even like me, I'm slowing down with buying on so much lines and just kind of narrowing it down to my select Marvel Legends, of course my G.I. Joe and Jada. That's really all the thing I've been kind of really focused on, and really just simple G.I. Joe. But you can see what I'm buying. I'm buying clearance figures just on the strength of that. Hey, that's a decent figure at a really great price. Let me get it. But people are slowing down. The economy is hurt up right now, and you just don't have the money to afford and spread across like that. I don't care if you do have the money. It's just a lot of money to throw down on some plastic, man. Say if you back the Cat Slayer $700, I'm sorry, and you back the G.I. Joe HasLab, let's just round that up to $300. That's $1,000 right there. Okay, then you got the Ghost Ship, that's $500, that's $1,500 right there. Okay, and then you say if you get the Mothership and it funds, that's $2,000. Say if you get a Giant Man, if he funds, that's $2,200 you spent on 5 items. Which, hey, I'm not talking about the money part, because it's whatever for the eye of the beholder, of the collector. But I'm just talking about so many projects. You're gonna stale yourself out, and it is getting stale to the point where the Giant Man is a decent price, but people are really weighing their options. Well, he's too big, you know what I'm saying? Which that's the craziest one. But I understand where people are coming from with this shelf space. People really wanted a 20-inch one. So they'll really get down to the narrowest of things and really start carving these things up, man. And it's just an over influx of things. So I think they need to slow down with it. I think they need to do maybe a Marvel Legends every other year, because that one's going on the cold end. Get people hungry, get people excited again, give them time to sit down and think how they really want to go. Star Wars every other year. Only thing I would say every year right now is G.I. Joe, until that fire starts to get cold, which it probably will one day. I'm not saying it's going to last forever, but right now you might as well strike the iron while it's hot, as they say. But like I said, shout out to JC for just that idea, for me just sitting up watching. I'm like, you know what? It is a lot of crowdfunded projects coming out, man. They just need to slow it down. But it's not the same company, it's different companies. So everybody doesn't have the same model. Maybe everybody's like hit the pedal to the metal. Maybe some companies are thinking, hey, let's slow it down a little bit. So it's a wildfire right now. And I'm probably sure some of you saying, well, Hasbro caused it, Now everybody has their own mind, individuality. And if another company sees another company making money, hey, monkey see, monkey do, shall I say, man. So, like I said, I don't have a problem with HasLabs. You either want it or you don't. I'm not going into all the extra shit. But I will say this, I think it's a huge influx and they need to die.